That's YouTube.
I think if there's something that someone asks and you're not sure, maybe just ignore the question. Or, I think that'll be fine. Just ignore it. And at the end, if you can remember, just say we've got a code. Use code like 10 on HappySkin.
Oh, we've got one person on YouTube.
Shall we go?
Yeah. So live on Facebook.
Just tell me when I should.
Okay. We're now live on Instagram.
Say hi to everyone. Ask them how they're doing.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to HappySkin's live streaming event. We'll just hang on whilst people join our various platforms. And today we're going to be talking about eczema and creams and how best to use them. Can I just do an audio check, please? Can everyone hear me okay? Just give us a thumbs up if it's okay. Hi everyone. We're just waiting for people to join us, so just a couple of minutes before we get started, if that's okay. I can see lots of people joining, so that's good news. We'll just wait for a few more minutes whilst we get more people online. We've had a huge response to this event, so hopefully everyone will be joining close to the start time. Right, I'm being given the nod that we can get started. So everybody, and welcome again to the HappySkin live event. We're doing a weeks to discuss the topics that really do matter to parents who are trying to treat their children's eczema. There's so much information online. It's difficult to get to the doctor. There are things that parents want to know. We get flooded with questions. So today we are going to talk about how to use creams. Are there alternatives to creams, and what is the best way to use them? So we're also running a live question event. So if you have any questions during the event, just pop them online, and we'll endeavour to get through them all during the event. So please put your questions in. But in the meantime, I'm just going to take you through the journey of what happens when your child has eczema. And if any of you agree with what I'm saying, or if you've ever if you've experienced this path yourselves, just give us a little thumbs up on the channel so that we can we know we're on subject. So eczema and your baby. There's no doubt that eczema is one of those conditions which is increasing in prevalence. Unfortunately, it's the world we live in. We're living in a cleaner, more sterile environment. Babies are unfortunately are suffering with eczema more and more, and that's to do with the fact that there are 50% of babies now between the ages of 0 and 5 have some sort of skin condition. Some of them will grow out of it by the age of around 10, but some of them have the condition, and it's up to the parents to soothe and keep babies comfortable. But this is the journey that we hear so many times from parents. So the first time you spot some redness or some skin irritation, you pop the baby to the surgery, and your GP will prescribe some sort of emollient or cream. You're told to apply the emollient regularly and in high dosages. You go home, you do that, you follow the instructions as best you can. You may be working, so it's difficult for you to be doing it all day, every hours, which is the prescribed treatment. You then definitely apply it after bathing, because there's a bit more time, if you can squeeze it in, having cooked dinner and got the baby down to sleep. Some of the creams work, some of the creams don't work, unfortunately. So then you're back to the surgery again, and you wait your turn. The doctor sees you. You may see the same doctor, or you may see someone else, and you say, "Doctor, this cream isn't working brilliantly." The doctor then prescribes you another cream, probably a similar cream. It may be an ointment this time, which is slightly stronger than the cream that they prescribed you the first time. And you go home and you go through the same routine, applying the cream as often as you can, often after bath time, and then the cycle continues. And what happens next? The cream doesn't really work that well. The ointment doesn't really work that well. So you're now into the surgery for a third time, and the doctor looks at the eczema, looks at baby, and says, "Oh, maybe we need to prescribe a steroid." And your eyebrows raise up, and you think, "Wow, steroid on my baby's skin? Is that safe? Is that good?" And you're now thinking, okay, you resign to the fact that you're going to be using a steroid cream on your baby, which unfortunately will remove the top layer of your baby's skin. However, it does have antibacterial properties that will keep infections at bay. But creams, this is a treatment that's been around for about 30 years, and we've seen no progression and no development in this area of treatment for eczema. So you go home and you start using the steroid cream sparingly, because you've been told only to use it very sparingly, and you probably alternate the steroid cream with your ointment or your cream, and you do see some benefit. Sorry, I've just been told that we're having some technical difficulties on the live event page, and we'll be right back. And I'm really sorry about that, but we'll try and get back live as soon as we can on some platforms. What's happening? Okay, so could they not hear me? got some questions that have already been sent in, so I'm gonna start going through those. And the first one is, what eczema cream is best for my baby? Now, there are three creams, three types of cream, really. You've got, starting off with a cream which probably has the least oil content in it. It's quite soft and it's easy to apply, dries quite quickly. Then you move on to ointments, which are petroleum based, so that's alcohol. They have a high alcohol content, and they are a little more difficult to apply, and they take a little bit longer to dry. The best way to apply either a cream or an ointment is probably after bath time, when the baby's skin is very soft and the pores are open and it can absorb the cream. And so you should apply the cream evenly all over the areas that are affected. So I've got a question coming in actually from Stacey, who's saying that her daughter's been diagnosed with eczema since being a baby, mostly on her face and the back of ears and scalp, and you've tried QV Epiderm Aqueous, which is a water-based cream. And the question is, what is best to wash her hair with? I use the QV Gentle Wash. She hates it when I put the ointment in her scalp. Okay, so you're doing the right thing, Stacey. You need to wash the baby's hair with the most gentle wash that you can. And I mean, if you can avoid using shampoos altogether, which I know is difficult, do that, but use the most gentle, and just put a tiny little drop on your fingertips and just use that, along with lots of water, making sure it doesn't get in the baby's eyes, of course, but just make sure that you wash it off. You wash off any residue as best you can. And the baby's 8, so maybe not a baby, a young child. Yeah, just you have to be careful that you don't leave the residue. What I mean by residue, I mean just make sure you wash the shampoo off completely, so there's nothing left in the baby's scalp, in the child's scalp. But hang on to the end of this this live event, Stacey, because there is something you may be interested in that I'm going to mention at the end, but I'm not going to mention it now. So coming back to should eczema cream burn, was a question that we were asked. Now, the eczema cream shouldn't burn. Of course it shouldn't burn, but you know, eczema areas of skin that are damaged are very, very sensitive. And if you have been asked to use a steroid cream, the baby may get a burning sensation, because it's the steroid part of the cream is going to cause some sensation, because it's quite an aggressive cream that is interacting with the bacteria that has lodged itself in your baby's damaged skin. That's what the steroid is doing. So again, use with caution, use sparingly, and just make sure you follow the directions that your GP has given you. I'm going to interrupt my list of questions with a question from Christine, who's saying that her 2-year-old has eczema since birth, mainly in his joints. Recently, it started to spread up his legs and arms. We've tried different creams from the doctors and the appropriate bathing products for eczema. Christine, this is a journey that a lot of parents are on. The eczema does start in the folds of the skin, where the arms are folded, where the legs are folded for a long time, and skin's touching each other. It's not breathing as well as it can. It tends to sweat in those areas, which is why you're seeing the eczema start in that area. And unfortunately, it will spread. Your you need to follow the GP's instruction on applying the eczema creams. But again, hang on till the end of this to the end of this live event, because I'm going to be mentioning something that's going to be useful for you too. So I'm going to move on to Stacey, who's come back and said, talking about burning, we found the aqueous used to sting my daughter, and the dermatologist said the GP shouldn't have prescribed it for such a young age, and it can be very harsh on a child's skin. Stacey, if the aqueous cream has any sort of steroid content, you'll find that it can burn. Aqueous creams are the most gentle of the creams, but it also depends on what else is in there. There are various brands and various strengths. So hopefully the GP hasn't prescribed anything with a high steroid content for your baby. So moving on to the next question. My baby's 2 months old. He has flakes on his head like a nest, and I noticed he had it under his chin like a circle. That is eczema. My husband had that problem. So unfortunately, eczema is something that we pass on from one generation to the other. So if your husband has been suffering with eczema, the chances are there's a high likelihood that your baby is also suffering with eczema. And yeah, I would again stay on to the end of this live event, because whilst creams are the current prescribed recommended treatment for eczema, we are going to be mentioning our HappySkin product at the end of this event, which I think all of you will find very interesting. So moving on, what's the difference between creams and ointments? And that's a great question, because as I said before, there are, when you go to the doctor, he has a choice of creams, ointments, and steroids. Now, a cream has the lowest oil content of all the creams and is the easiest to apply, and they're often aqueous based. Aqueous meaning water based. So they are the least they're the least aggressive of the creams. You then move to ointments, which have a higher oil content, petroleum jelly based, and they're able to cover the skin in a thicker coating, which is great. But I'm going to discuss the properties of skin in a second, once I've just gone through this particular question. And then the last of the cream types, as I said, are the steroid creams that can be aqueous based or they can be oil based. And if they're oil based, they're called ointments. And they should be used very, very sparingly. But a steroid cream is prescribed because your baby's eczema is probably infected or inflamed. And because the skin is cracked, it's trapping bacteria, and that's causing the infection. You're not doing anything wrong. Unfortunately, it's just a condition that eczema brings on. So let's talk about skin for a second and why your baby has eczema. So why does my baby have eczema? As I said, it's a condition that's been passed on from one generation to another. It means that if your baby has eczema, that area of skin is damaged and it's not doing the job that it should do. Our skin is our body's largest organ. And the job of our skin is to keep us comfortable. It keeps all of us at the right temperature by releasing moisture or retaining moisture. In other words, if we're hot, our skin makes us sweat. And if we're cold, it shrinks and it traps a layer around our skin to keep us warm. Now, when I talk about temperature, I'm talking about maybe a variation of about 0.5 degree plus or minus. It's not a big change in temperature, but that's all we need to keep us comfortable. And when we sweat, the skin surface cools a fraction, and when we're cold, the air that's trapped around the skin just keeps us that little bit warmer. But if our skin is compromised because of eczema, that area of skin is not functioning properly, and it's not controlling temperature. Why is that important? So we've talked about releasing moisture or retaining moisture. When you've gone to the doctor and they've prescribed a cream for you, they're asking you to apply that cream on the damaged areas on the skin surface. The problem with a cream is that it can only trap moisture in the skin, and that's only 50% of the problem. As I said, our skin has to function two ways. It needs to release moisture, but it also needs to retain moisture when we're cold. And this is why we find that creams are not the complete solution. Applying a cream, yes, it'll soften the baby's skin. The steroid will help with the infection, and eventually the baby's skin will normalize. Although with eczema, you can never cure it, you can treat it. So you could get a flare up at any time, and flare ups are caused by stress, by change of environment, sometimes by nutrition. So there are a number of factors that can trigger your baby's eczema. So just be careful of that. So we've talked about why creams perhaps don't do the job on their own, and that's the reason. I'm going to go through a few more questions now. I've got a call here from Patricia, who's saying that her 7-year-old has had eczema for 3 years now. Her skin peels a lot. She mainly scratches at night, and in the morning she finds a lot of dead skin on her bed. Patricia, that's unfortunately that's very common. The baby's asleep. That scratch itch sensation is so strong that the baby's doing it. Your child's doing it whilst they're sleeping. They can't help themselves, and at 7 years old, it's difficult to stop that. I mean, what you can do is perhaps have some mitts on your child to try and maybe reduce the amount of scratching that's happening. But just hang on to the end, because we need to talk about something that'll help your baby through the night. I'm going to move on to foster care KMY. Is that Kimmy? I'm not sure. Good morning. Our son has been diagnosed with atopic dermatitis, or eczema, since he's 1 year old. Today he's 3. We've been using so many creams, even steroid. It's 2 years already, and we feel that nothing works. I've done wet wrapping. Wow, you've done everything. I mean, wet wrapping. Oh, please don't get me started about wet wrapping. Wet wrapping is it's just I just get so annoyed about wet wrapping, because what they're saying is apply a cream and then take some bandages, soak them in water, and then wrap your baby like a mummy, like the Egyptians used to do, and that's going to stop the skin from releasing moisture. Well, yes, it's going to do that, but I mean, wow, what an old-fashioned historic way of trying to treat eczema. It's ridiculous, and I'm sorry to have to say this as a skin expert, but it's just, these people think we have nothing else to do. It's crazy. And unfortunately, as I said before, wrapping your baby up with cream and bandages, yes, you will stop the baby from releasing moisture. And obviously the wet bandaging encourages the moisture to remain in the skin. But skin needs to do two things. It needs to release moisture as well as retain moisture, especially in the summer, in this hot weather. That's why a lot of you are writing in and saying, my baby's skin is getting really hot at night. Of course it is. If you're covering your baby in a thick cream, you're not letting its skin breathe. And so what are we getting? We're getting a sweating baby, which is sweat is salty, it's changing, it's irritating the baby's skin, and it's just not right. So again, foster care KMY, hang on till the end, please. We're going to be we're going to be mentioning something that you're going to be very interested in too. We've got another question coming in from YouTube. Amy Wong says there are cream claims that they are anti-itch or help with the itch. What's your opinion on this? Cream with ectoin. Amy, creams are, as I said, creams were developed 30 years ago. They are supposed to help with itch because treating eczema is all about breaking the itch scratch cycle. If you can stop the baby from itching, you're going to help with its eczema, and that's what a cream is supposed to do. Unfortunately, we don't believe creams do very well because, as I've said a few times on this live event today, creams are only addressing part of the problem. Covering your baby in a cream is great if you want to keep the moisture within your baby's skin, but your baby's skin needs to breathe as well if it's going to function healthily. And unfortunately, creams are not doing that as well as they could be. So I'm going to go through another couple of questions whilst more questions coming online from the questions we've had before. Organic and natural creams does not mean it is hypoallergenic. So some of you look out for natural and organic products as being the safest for your baby's skin. Let me try and address that. Just because something is natural, it doesn't mean it's good for your baby's skin. Natural oils, plant-based products can be very aggressive to a baby's skin. Because just because it's natural, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have irritants and sensitizers within the cream. So please be aware of that when you're looking for natural or hypoallergenic, in inverted commas, products. Be very careful what you apply on your baby's skin. Is baby oil or coconut natural oil good for eczema skin? Please do not use coconut oils and natural oils for your baby's eczema. Stay away from them. If you're going to use an oil-based product, only use a petroleum-based ointment that your GP has prescribed. Don't go there with coconut oils and anything else. And that includes suntan lotions and anything else. Do not use that on your baby. Not good at all. Do we have any more questions coming in? How can I protect my daughter when she's at school? She'll be learning to swim this year, and the chlorine irritates her skin when I take her swimming. I wash her afterwards and take an Molly, but school won't apply creams. Stacey, this is the problem. This is the problem with current treatments. You go to the doctor, they prescribe creams, ointments, lotions, or steroids, but they're telling you to apply them 6 or 7 times a day. If your child is of school age, matron will not apply cream. It's just not done anymore. And so here we are. Your baby's going swimming. The chlorine will irritate her skin absolutely, and the water will also dry out her skin too. So yeah, you've got a problem there. Hang on till the end of the live event, because there's something that I want to talk to you guys about. It's our HappySkin. It's our HappySkin product. And I'm going to use your example, Stacey, to talk about our product. Your midwife has advised you to use coconut oil and olive oil on your child's scalp. Is it helping? If it's helping, carry on. I'm not so sure. So if we don't have any more questions, I'm going to talk to you about our HappySkin product. And why we think that in conjunction with creams, this is the best way for you to treat your baby's eczema. Let's go back to how skin works. Skin works by releasing moisture or retaining moisture to keep us at the correct temperature. If our skin is damaged in any way, our skin doesn't control moisture. So what have we done? We've developed over the last 15 years, we developed a product which is a range of clothing. It has been available on prescription under the brand Dream Skin, and it's prescribed by dermatologists. You've got to go to a dermatologist to get it prescribed for your child. And the clothing itself is unlike any clothing you will find online. Why is that? It's because it has a coating. It has a coating on the fabric, which whose cross section is identical to the top layer of our skin. So we've developed a technology that is basically mimics the top layer of our skin. Now, why is that good? So we've talked about an area of damaged skin. When that skin is damaged, it doesn't control moisture. When our HappySkin garment is worn by someone with eczema, that coating that I've just mentioned, when that coating is close to that damaged area of skin, it prompts the skin to start managing moisture as it would normally, because it's fooled into thinking that it's got perfect skin again. And that's how it works. And we've never had a treatment failure in the last 15 years for our medical device. And earlier this year, we launched a product called HappySkin, which is available to everyone online. And the recommendation that we give is continue using your creams very sparingly, and just wear your HappySkin garments 24/7. You can't overwear a HappySkin garment. You can wear them at night. You can wear them during the day. You can't overwear them. You don't do the baby any harm by wearing them at all. They come in from baby bodysuits through to sleep suits, right through to PJs, tops and bottoms for up to 10-year-olds, 10 to 12-year-olds. So we cover that 0 to 10 years, which is the time when we see most children with eczema. We have socks. We are going to be launching a head mask. So I'm coming back to some of the questions about people with babies that have dry scalps. By popular demand, we have developed a head mask for our HappySkin range. We've always had it for our Dream Skin range, and it seems to be a more and more popular demanded product. So in the next month or so, we should be getting our head masks in. So I've had a few more questions come in whilst I've been talking about HappySkin, and I am going to answer those. But I just wanted to recap on what I said about using your creams in conjunction with HappySkin. Use a light coating of the cream, let it dry, and then put your baby in HappySkin. The HappySkin will take over. You will see a difference within 48 hours. Your baby's eczema, you'll see a reduction in redness. You'll see them not scratching, and you will be amazed. The only thing I ask you to do is take a picture before and then take a picture in 2 or 3 days and just compare the two. You will be absolutely delighted. We have thousands of happy parents already, and it's our job to make people's lives happy again. By using HappySkin, you haven't got to apply the cream all day long. You can put your child in the clothing throughout the day. You can wear it as an undergarment. You can wear it at night. You can wear it during the day. So you're able to treat your child's eczema 24/7. So let me just get to some of these questions now that are coming online. Does drying the HappySkin bodysuit with a hairdryer damage the effectiveness? Sometimes the cuffs don't dry quickly, so I give it a blast with a dryer. That's a really clever way of drying your HappySkin garment. Doesn't do it any harm whatsoever, and I'm going to remember that tip. Thank you. So over to Donna. My daughter has eczema since birth. She's on 2 types of steroid cream twice a day and Epiderm 4 times a day. When I stop using the eczema's back again. I've heard steroid cream thins the skin. Is that true? Unfortunately, Donna, it's absolutely true. It sounds like your child's eczema is quite aggressive, and having 2 lots of steroid cream is quite severe. I urge you to order yourself some HappySkin garments and stop using the steroid cream after a couple of days. Use the Epiderm in a thin layer, let it dry, and then you will be amazed. You won't have to go back to steroid creams. Claire, my baby has had eczema that keeps oozing. The doctor has given us steroid creams, which we use to clear it up. But as soon as we stop using the cream, the eczema comes back. The dermatologist said to use it for 2 weeks at a time, then stop for 2 weeks. But I'm weary of using steroid creams for long periods. Claire, you're absolutely right to be weary. Using any steroid for any extended time is not great for the baby's skin. It definitely will treat the oozing, but it's also getting into the baby system, and you definitely don't want to be doing that. Use your ointment, use a cream, and use it in conjunction with HappySkin. You will not need to go back to steroids after that. What else have we got? Stacey's asking, can we get HappySkin swimwear? Stacey, unfortunately, we don't do the swimwear. But I just want to tell you guys a little story, because I said I would use Stacey as an example. But our very, very first patient was an 8-year-old girl in Cambridge who was a county swimmer, and this happened about 8 years ago. She was picked as a perfect patient for us to try out our medical device Dream Skin product that's available on prescription that I mentioned before. And this was a girl that was swimming between 5 and 8 o'clock every morning. As I said, she was a county swimmer, but she had really bad eczema, and she would scratch herself to sleep at night and wake herself up because of the scratching and the itching. Her parents would be up every night, hearing the baby crying. They'd have to change the sheets every day because of the amount of blood that was on those sheets. But she loved her swimming. Really a really brilliant athlete, but the swim was killing her skin. So she tried. And they had tried everything. Her mum was had been to see the dermatologist so many times, they ended up being best friends. And she had a cupboard full of creams and ointments that she tried on her child. So she was a perfect candidate for our Dream Skin product. Well, let me tell you, in 48 hours, the child's skin had started to normalize. The reddening has subsided. She was carrying on with her swimming. She was wearing her Dream Skin pajamas at night. And guess what happened? The first couple of nights, the parents were asleep. They couldn't hear the baby crying. They thought, oh my God, what's happened? What's happened to our baby? She's not crying. Is she okay? Well, guess what? The child was sleeping through the night, comfortable, wearing her Dream Skin PJs, and her skin normalized. And that's a happy story. And it was so many examples like that prompted us to launch our HappySkin product, which is our over-the-counter version of that Dream Skin product. It has exactly the same technology. It has that special coating that I talked about, which is the thing that you want to have close to your baby's skin. So again, use your ointments. Absolutely avoid steroids, because trust me, you will not be using them after you've used HappySkin for a few days. And on that note, we're gonna launch a user code after this event. It's Life10. That you can get 10%, as well as some of the other bulk buying discounts that we have on the website. In any case, go to HappySkin website, happy-skin.com, and you get use the Live10 code, LIVE10 code, and get your baby some HappySkin. Okay, Donna saying the suits on the website, are they the same as the doctor gave me when I wet wrapped her when she was 2? Donna, if the doctor prescribed Dream Skin, then those were our medical device products. HappySkin has exactly the same technology, but is something that you can buy online. And by the way, please do not wet wrap your baby anymore when you're using HappySkin. You don't need to do that. As I said before, just a light coating of cream, let the cream dry, and then put the baby in HappySkin. Within 2 days, you will see a difference. Take pictures before and after, and you'll be pinching yourself. If we don't have any more questions, I'm going to sign off for today, but please look out.
How tight does HappySkin need to be?
Right, I'm being asked a question which is actually really really important. How tight does HappySkin need to be? Our HappySkin garments are designed to fit snugly, not tightly, but snugly, so that coating I mentioned before needs to sit on the baby's skin so that it can work its magic and start managing moisture. So when you're ordering the size for your baby, order the right size, and you'll find that it's a snug fit. You don't want it loose because it won't be working properly if it's too loose. Now, that's a good question. Thank you. So unless I have any other questions, we're going to wrap it up for today, but please look out for our next live event. We always give out a code at the end, and we're happy to answer all of the questions that you may be struggling to get an answer from your GP or your dermatologist. Guys, thank you very much for joining us this morning, and I wish you a great rest of the day. Thank you.